You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
It is the Christmas season. Okay, technically it's still Advent, but we're preparing for Christmas. And that means we can talk about Christmas cookies and continue the series, which has been a lot of fun.
It has been.
In the interim, have you had a chance to make your Christmas cookies? I know you have one recipe that you can make.
A single recipe that's happening tonight.
All right.
And I'm very excited. It involves cranberry sauce.
So, excellent. So I'm excited about the one that we have today because, well, one, fun guest, two, fun recipe, I think, is in store if it's what I think it is. So looking forward to talking about that. Joining us today, Kelly Nava, friend of the Coffee Hour and here in St. Louis. Kelly, welcome to the Coffee Hour.
Thanks so much, you guys. I'm happy to be here.
So what role did Christmas cookies play for you as a child? Did they have a significant place in your childhood?
Well, they did because, and I don't know why this was a thing, but growing up, we would have Christmas at my grandmother's house. And my grandmother and my grandfather are very Italian. And they would have out platters of antipasto, or as we kind of like have modernized it, the charcuterie board. Back in the day, it was it was the antipasto platter. So that had like the salami and the cheese and the veggies and the nuts. But for some inexplicable reason, before dinner, there was always a platter of cookies next to the antipasto tray. And so as a kid, you're like, yes, it's cookie time. It's cookie time all the time. So, I mean, that's what we did. That's what we did before dinner was snack on all the cookies. And it was fantastic.
That is quite a special, because normally it's like, oh, don't eat dessert before dinner. Right. But when it's Christmas cookies, like they don't count.
No,
as dessert.
It's a free-for-all.
Eat them all day. Do you have favorites from that cookie platter or other favorites from that time period?
Of course I do. They're very deeply ingrained in my memories. So my grandma would make, the standard like sugar cookies with the glittery sprinkles on them and the really crunchy, snappy gingerbread men with that rock hard icing on them. And then the best part, and again, I was a child at the time, but for some reason, Rum Balls were the thing that I gravitated to all the time. And that was like the highlight of my Christmas and has like just been the highlight of my Christmas every year since. Is silly little Rum Balls.
Now, what constitutes a rum ball? Because I'm thinking as a child, that probably does not sound like an appetizing flavor. So what was it about the rum balls? What constitutes a rum ball from your family's perspective?
And honestly, they're not even that pretty looking. So I don't know why as a kid I went for them. And it's funny. I hoped you would ask me that because up until, this week, I actually didn't know what was in a rum ball because I'd never made them myself. And there's a story behind that because my mother...
We gave you homework, didn't we?
It's okay. I don't mind it. I like to look this kind of thing up. But my mother-in-law makes cookie platters every year, but she knows that I love Rum Balls. So every year, like my portion of the cookie platter that she sends us gets bigger and bigger. And it's always just full of Rum Balls just for me. So I've had the luxury of never having to make these myself because I have a supplier. So I have learned, I've looked this up now, and it's the weirdest Franken cookie. It's from what I understand, it's crushed up Nilla wafers or sometimes just like chocolate wafer cookies and a lot of sugar and corn syrup and crushed up nuts and rum. And then you just like roll it up and you don't bake it. So the alcohol doesn't leave, by the way.
Oh, dear.
And then you coat it in powdered sugar and they're soft and delicious. And I never knew what they were before today.
Wow. That is quite the recipe.
It's
like the ultimate of no-bake cookies.
Exactly. It's almost like a truffle. Like if you were to coat that in chocolate, it would be a truffle.
There you go.
Right?
Truffle chocolate covered Rum Balls.
There you go. Perfect. I'm doing it. Okay. Rather, I'm not doing that this year. I'm going to have my mother-in-law try that for me. I love you, Claire.
Oh my goodness. That is quite fantastic. I don't think I never knew what a Rum Ball was either. I suppose I thought it was like those snowball cookies, just with rum added. But that is amazing.
Yeah,
what else does your mother-in-law supply you with other than the rum balls?
Well, at Christmas time, she has her set of Christmas cookies. Jam thumbprints are a big deal. My husband, Jaime, really loves those ones. She does fudge for sure. That's a classic. Oh, and she makes these little raspberry like crumble bars too. Yeah, I think they're raspberry. Maybe they're blackberry, but yeah, that's kind of like the mother-in-law classic set for Christmas of Christmas cookies. And it's, it's a dangerous time.
Now, you mentioned that you have your own supplier since your mother-in-law provides these for you. Are the rum balls kept specifically hidden just for mom, like just for you?
Yes, that is. I have no shame. Yes, they're my rum balls. Nobody else gets them.
Except for all the people listening now, know when they come over,
they're going to ask you where they
ask
are.
where the stash is.
Oh, no. You're just going to have to look for those yourself. Within your comfort level of like breaching the bounds of propriety in my home.
Now you mentioned your mother-in-law makes a lot of these for you and for the family. Have you ever baked Christmas cookies? Do you have any experiences baking Christmas cookies?
Oh, yeah. When we were younger, my mom and my sister especially, we would do just grotesque amounts of sugar cookies that we would decorate with the colored icing and the sprinkles, and we would make little angels. And for a really long time, we cut out sugar cookies in the shape of gingerbread men, and we would decorate them as ourselves. Like one for every member of the family. And that was kind of a tradition that we did growing up. In later years, I started making, this is so nerdy, Wookiee cookies.
Yes.
So I would take the gingerbread man shape, but like make it a little fuzzy around the edges, like, and then decorate them like Chewbacca. And they were Wookiee cookies.
That's awesome.
That was a recent development with cookies. But now I've got little ones with food allergies. So we have sort of a limited array of things that we can do. But we did just make some gingerbread cookies this year, me and my youngest.
Those other shaped Christmas sugar / gingerbread cookies are very fun. I know there's a lot of iterations of ways you can manipulate what the angel, is it the angel cookie cutter? You can make, is it Baby Yoda? You can make, if you like.
Oh, something like that. Yeah, when you flip it upside
cut
down.
It off and flip it around or something. Yeah. And the ninja gingerbread cookies are very fun also.
Ninja cookies. Ninja bread cookies.
Ninja bread cookies.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. That is fantastic.
Yes. So you mentioned food allergies, and I am quite familiar in the realm of trying to make cookies with food allergies. What are some of your secrets for making Christmas cookies fun with food allergies? I know a lot of families deal with that.
Oh, goodness. So, I mean, to make it fun, if we're going to be doing the shape cookies, one of my kids is gluten intolerant. So we would just find it like a good solid gluten-free flour mix. And the pre-made ones are usually better for shaped cookies because they're the most like conventional flour. Like if you try to do any other kind of like nut flour, it's not quite the same. So we can accomplish that. And that actually works pretty well. One kid is gluten intolerant and the other can't have corn and potatoes, which are sometimes in gluten-free products. Yeah. So you have to kind of find the pre-made mixes that are cool with both of those things. But then also, I mean, who doesn't love like a good standard like chocolate chip cookie? And we've got like a fantastic chocolate chip recipe that is totally allergy friendly in our house. And we make that just a lot when we want cookies. So that's kind of our go-to special treat cookie.
That's awesome. What are some of the fun things that the kids enjoy doing when baking cookies together? Yes. I mean, that's what we do best. When we're kids,
I mean, we call it sprinkle party. It's like, it's a riot of sprinkles. So we try to make, icing, and chances are good that it will be pink. That is the color they choose, and it is not Christmassy, but it is what they want. So pink and many sprinkles. And that's what they love. So they just make the girliest, most fun cookies when it's cookie time, and that gets them going. We like that.
It's just every week is Gaudete Sunday in the
right.
Nava house.
Right? That's exactly what I was thinking. And we took some to church, and I was like, well, this is totally appropriate for Bible study today. Please.
Yes.
Eat our pink cookies.
There you go.
Now, you mentioned earlier some suspicious like you mentioned like glittery sprinkles and things like that. We were just thinking about some of these suspicious ingredients from years gone by. We were talking about what were some of the crazy ingredients you had before, like glittery sprinkles and things like that you had before that we probably wouldn't even touch today. Like in our household, in addition to, Sarah thinks it's really weird, there was wax in the chocolate for the peanut butter balls. But we also had these like really like little candy balls, but they were like silver. Almost like chrome. Yeah. Do you remember those? Yeah, I don't think those are safe to eat, but they were on our cookies. I remember as a kid, they were like on the sugar cookies, especially the bells when you always put it on the Christmas bell. Yeah. Were there other like random ingredients that were suspicious as a child that you would not touch now?
Oh, for sure. But now that you've brought up the little silver, what were those called? Oh gosh, were they like sugar bombs or something? No, probably not. But I know exactly what you're talking about. And we totally used those, which I'm sure those were very toxic.
They probably had some kind of metal in them.
I would imagine. How do you get that color and make it edible? It was chrome. They were like little chrome balls. And the glitter sprinkles for sure. Because I mean, like thinking, and I know these are actually still retailed, but because it's just like sugar granules that have been colored. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I just can't imagine the volume of food dye that we used to consume as kids because, these were like brightly saturated chemical colors that we just ate willy-nilly. It was no big deal. And he said something about wax and peanut butter balls. And I know that's not something my grandma did, but she did make peanut butter balls with a questionable recipe at one point. Like, I'll clarify. Like she made really good peanut butter balls and then she lost the recipe and tried to recreate it.
Oh no.
So it took a long time and her peanut butter balls were really weird for a while because she was trying to nail it down. And I remember she would put things like protein powder and like wheat germ and just very odd ingredients. And we're like, no, Grandma, no, this isn't right.
Just trying to make them healthy.
Dear.
I know, but like 80s and 90s healthy, which was just kind of like not to the point that we are now with healthy things. It was just really badly flavored and textured.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm glad that we have grown so much now.
Me too, honestly.
We moved on to food allergies and accommodating those, but making good memories with your kids. Thanks so much for sharing your fun stories. Any other advice to us, to fellow families or maybe parents as they're looking to spend some time baking some Christmas cookies together this year?
Oh, yes. I don't know what kind of reaction this is going to get, but if you're planning on making like cookie platters for your pastor, make sure like 12 other people aren't doing the same thing. Word to the wise, because pastor's kids all sugared up is not always good. This only happened to us one year. And luckily we only had one kid at the time, but still it was a lot.
Oh, Kelly, thanks so much for sharing these fun cookie stories with us.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
Of course.
You've been listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
The Coffee Hour with Andy and Sarah is a production of KFUO. To support the Coffee Hour and KFUO Radio, visit KFUO.org. You can also text KFUO to 41444 or send an email to gifts@KFUO.org. And you can call us at 800-844-0524. KFUO. Christ for you, anytime, anywhere.